guys, it's Caleb from Rokblokz. Today in the shop we have this Mazda CX-50. We're going to be installing our new mud flap kit for it, so let's go ahead and show you how to install it. Here are the tools that you'll need for install. Today we'll be using a Phillips head 3 with our ratchet here to tighten down the screws. You'll need an 8mm socket to help remove some of the screws on the rear, and then you'll just need a flathead or pry tool. We've got a few options laid out here. One will do the trick, and then you'll also need a level. Here we have the front laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your flap for that corner and then the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Now let's head to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the front fender. We're going to begin by removing the factory inserts from right here and right here. To do so, we're going to take our flathead or pry tool. I just like getting my small flathead in here and I like to just pop them. They tend to just fall out. We'll collect them and put them away later. Just kind of pop that center. If they have been on the car for a while, if you just kind of lightly tap them with a mallet to kind of help break up some of the dust and dirt buildup in them, that'll help make popping them a little easier. So now that we've got those out of the way, we're going to replace them with the large inserts in our kit. I'm going to push those into those OEM holes like so. Now we're going to grab our flap and begin mounting. To do so, we're going to take this little ear and tab, and that's going to loop around the back side of the liner onto the lower plastic shelf that's right there. And we'll just kind of get that up into position, and that will hook on there. We'll grab one of our 1¼ screws with 1¼ washer, and we're going to screw into this bottom insert down here. We'll get that going, started by hand. That will support our flap. Now we're going to grab our other 1¼ screw with 1¼ washer. We'll get that started by hand as well. On this install today, the customer opted to keep it drillless, so we're just going to tighten these 2 screws down. But if you'd like additional support, we include an extra screw and washer, and we have marked a hole right here. You can simply take this, screw it in through that hole. That will go into the liner and into that little shelf that we talked about, and that will secure that point just a little more. So now let's go ahead and fully tighten these down. As we're tightening these, just before we get them fully tightened down, we'll grab our level, check along the bottom, set our angle, and then fully tighten them down to lock that in place. With those fully tightened down, that completes the front install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Now let's go ahead and jump to the rear. Here we have the rear laid out. What you'll get in your kit is your flap for that corner. You'll get your mounting tab and then the hardware. We'll go ahead and put a breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Before we head to the vehicle, we're going to prep the flap with the mount tab. To do so, we're going to take it, we're going to pull it through from the side without a logo to the side with a logo. Just clicking that in place. Now we're ready to head over to the vehicle and begin installing. Here we are at the rear of the vehicle. We're going to begin by removing the factory inserts right here, and then on the bottom side there are 2 screws that are holding this liner in place. We're going to remove the front one and remove the front clip, and then on the rear we'll just remove it so that way we can get in there and access and put our clips in place. So let's go ahead, get them out of the way. These you'll simply just pop. We've already popped ours, and so they're easy to remove. Now we'll go down below and remove those screws. These screws here are just an 8mm socket, so we'll go ahead, loosen those up. Loosen that up. We'll set those screws to the side. Now we'll push our liner out of the way. We're going to remove this clip on the front side here. It may crack as you're trying to get it off. Now we're going to take our short metal clip and we're going to place it on the bottom here. Flip it so that way the flat side is facing down. We'll align that with the hole in the liner. Then we can go ahead, come up inside the fender, and put the other two metal clips on as well. Now that we're back up at the fender, we're just pulling the liner outward. We're going to use the opening here to be able to reach up and put our clip on this upper hole here. We'll take our second clip and place it on our lower hole right here. With those in place, now we can tuck the liner back in and then put our rear OEM screw back in place and begin mounting the flap. With the OEM liner back in place and that OEM screw securing it, we can now grab our flap and begin mounting. We'll grab a 1-inch screw and our 1.25-inch washer. We'll hold this up and we're going to secure at the lower hole on the front face here. Get that started by hand. Now we'll grab another 1-inch screw with a washer. We'll do the upper hole here. Getting that set. Now we're going to go on the bottom and go up into that tab. Get that up into that clip that we placed in that bottom hole. Get it started by hand. Now we can go ahead and adjust our flap. With all our screws loosely in place, we're going to take our level, check along the bottom edge here, adjust the flap to our liking, and then I'm going to tighten down these two screws first to lock the orientation. And then as I'm tightening the bottom screw here, I'm going to push the tab towards the rear of the vehicle and then pushing the flap up against the liner to hold it tight, and then we'll lock it in place by tightening the screw. With those fully tightened down, that completes the rear install. You can repeat these same steps on the other side. Thanks for watching.